Good afternoon. Welcome to Zambian Voices, our online conversation that highlights Zambians who are working to improve their standards and well-being and that of their fellow citizens. Over the past few months, it's been my pleasure to speak to these change makers to share information and insights on a wide range of themes, including education, entrepreneurship, health, democracy and human rights, and governance initiatives. Today, we have a very special program. I'm very honored to have three motivated young Zambians who truly represent the spirit of working hard. You are part of the best of the future of Zambia, and we're very proud of you. I'd like to welcome Thokozile Nyasulu, Luyando Kwenda, and Ben Nestor, who recently completed the 2019 EducationUSA Scholars program with the U.S. Embassy. These three high-achieving students endured a rigorous year of successfully navigating the U.S. application process. And in April, they earned admission to 3 top U.S. universities on full ride scholarships. So congratulations to all of you. Tokozile, Ben, and Luyando, we're very, very proud of you. So it's our pleasure to have you join us today. But as we begin, I have to say how proud we are of you, but also this is a special day where I'm very proud as a dad, because my daughter is her birthday today, on 23rd birthday, and she just graduated from Occidental College in Los Angeles. So I'm wearing her college t-shirt as a very proud dad. And so I have to say, as a proud dad, I'm also proud of you as our chargé at the U.S. Embassy. So can you start off by introducing yourselves, which U.S. university you're going to study, and what major you plan to pursue? So let's start off with Tokozile. Welcome.
Thank you very much. My name is Thokozile Nyasulu, and I will be attending Cornell University. I am attending Cornell University. I plan to take part in Cornell's concurrent degree program, which will enable me to pursue 2 degrees at the same time. So 1 degree in astronomy with a concentration in astrophysics, and another degree in mechanical engineering with a minor in aerospace engineering.
Wonderful. Well, congratulations, Tokozile. And Ben, can you please introduce yourself to our listeners?
Okay, my name is Ben Nestor, and I'll be attending Brown University in January. Well, we've already started learning, but it's online as for now, so I don't count it yet. So I'll be traveling to Brown in January to study either neuroscience or biochemistry. Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, congratulations. And Luyando, please introduce yourself as well. It looks like you're already on the campus.
Hello, my name is Luyando Kwenda, and I'm currently studying mechanical engineering at the University of Pennsylvania.
Wonderful. So thank you. So let's start now. Tokozile, could you please tell us about your dream of studying in the United States and why you decided to join the EducationUSA Scholars program?
So when I was younger, my father used to watch documentaries on like black holes and stars and all the fun stuff about astronomy and cosmology. And in the beginning, I would sit next to him and watch those documentaries to like kind of coax him into changing the channel, but that never worked. So there was one day I decided to sit right next to him and actually listen to what they're saying. And I saw these amazing colors and the beauty and mysteries of the universe, and I fell in love instantly. At that time, I was probably like 6 or 7 and had no idea what studying the universe meant or what exactly it was. But as I grew up and learned more, I learned that what I dreamt of doing was astrophysics. So from a young age, I knew I wanted to do astrophysics, but I had no idea how that would happen. And when I graduated secondary school, I was kind of wondering, like, how exactly am I going to make these dreams come true? So a cousin of mine sent me an email saying you should try applying for Education USA. I know you want to study in the USA, and that's pretty much how I discovered Education USA. So to summarize, I dreamt of studying in the USA because I knew it was the best place for me to study astrophysics, and I decided to become an Education USA scholar because it would give me the tools to open the door into the US educational system.
That is so exciting. I know Cornell is really one of the centers for the world in astrophysics. So I know you will be an exciting member of joining that team. So that's very, very cool. Luyando, many people aspire to study abroad, but they're challenged by the cost of what it requires to study for a university degree, including in the US, because it is expensive. What are some of the steps that have led your successful application for financial aid?
The first thing I would say is start your research really early because it gets stressful as the deadline comes closer. So I would rather have my list of universities that I'm sure will give me enough aid and gather all your documents in advance because when you're applying for aid, the portal shows you what documents you need to submit. So it's best you have those as early as possible in case you come up with you have a problem. And if you have a problem, the best thing you do is reach out to the financial aid office. You can either email them or call them, but I feel like calling is much more efficient because you get an answer instantly. And when filling in the financial aid documents, you have to be as truthful as possible because if you lie, it will reflect with the documents you submit. So you just have to be truthful.
Wonderful. That's great advice. And I know you're going to have a wonderful experience in Philadelphia when you go there. One of the things about Philadelphia is, like the picture behind you, the trees change color during the beautiful season. So you will like that, I'm sure. Now, Ben, what are some of the difficulties and challenges that you encountered in the 1 year that you were applying to US universities? And how did you remain persistent and eventually get this full scholarship to Brown?
Okay, I would begin by saying I think the best feelings that you have during this whole application is just like when you have the dream of like studying in America and just thinking about how much you can accomplish, and the moment that you read the email or the update that tells you that you've been accepted. So I think from there, that's where you can be drawing your motivation. But I think the challenges that I faced, I think first of all is understanding some parts of the application. In as much as like most websites and most universities will try their best to like explain parts of the application to you, it's difficult for someone like me from here, Zambia, who hasn't really had so many people have gone through this process to understand some parts of the application. So I think that's like one of the most challenging things, understanding some parts of the application. But I think how I got through that was like when you start, it seems like a daunting challenge. You can't understand like some of the parts that are required. But after you do some research and like contact some universities, and I think mostly talk to the Education USA office in your country or just here in Zambia, you talk to them, it's very helpful. They help out in helping you understand some parts of the application because there's nothing better than someone who knows the situation that you're in, explaining a part that you don't really understand. So I think that's one of the parts that really helped me in understanding some parts of the application that I really didn't understand. Then I think the other challenge that most people face is covering some application fees. Going through the process, I can tell you that, okay, there are a lot of fees that are required for you to cover. But most people just look at it and say, okay, I can't manage this, so I won't apply. But what I would advise you is reaching out to the financial aid officers of the universities that you're interested in. Most universities are more than willing to help you out with covering those costs of the applications, of the SATs. Yeah. So if you feel that you really need some of those funds, the best advice that I would give you is to contact them, reach out to them, and I'm very sure they will give you a positive response and waive your fees for you. And I think the last part is that's what I began with. by saying the motivation, it's hard to stay motivated through the whole process because it's a long process. The application process is long and it's stressful. So I think the best thing that you can do for yourself is always keep in mind, keep something that will remind you of why you started and like the things that you can achieve by going through this process. I think for me, the thing that kept me going, even in the times where I felt like, okay, I just need to stop. I need to sleep for like a week. I can go to another university. I think the thing that kept me motivated was I had some pictures of Brown. I was very interested in going to Brown. So I had pictures of Brown and I would look at them and visualize myself there. So that kept me going and just reaching out to some of my friends like Luyando and Toko who are also applying, you talk about it. And just talking to the advisors at Education USA, it also helped me to keep myself motivated. I think those were like the three main challenges that I faced as I was going through the application.
Wonderful. Well, thank you, Ben. Those are great. That's great advice for other students who are interested in studying in the United States. I must say that our Education USA office, which is based out of our embassy here in Lusaka, has tremendous resources and can give those of our listeners great support like they gave you, the three of you. I would say that we have two amazing members of our team, Belita and Paul, who both have degrees from the US. Belita, who's an amazing member of our team, has 2 masters from the United States. So a very impressive graduate as well. And she and Paul are wonderful, wonderful, nice, caring, very informative people. So I think the Education USA office, which you can find online, can give you help in these virtual times during COVID. Now, going on, Tokozile, for those who want to follow in your footsteps, what are the key steps that you would recommend that people take in starting the US admissions process?
I think the most important step, as Luyando said, is research. One of my counselors at Cornell always says there's nothing harder than being a low-income international student applying to the USA. So if you know that you need the financial aid, I don't think you shouldn't waste your time applying to schools that won't give you the aid. And that's definitely an important thing, especially if you need the aid. The second thing is research is important because you want to find your match. If you hate the code, you probably shouldn't go to Cornell. Or if you love it when it snows and you love the snow, you should probably go to like the University of Southern California, So it's very important to do your research. I think research is probably the most important thing. And obviously writing amazing essays is also really important. And also very early on in the application process, it stops being about, what you achieved, what you can achieve, and it starts being about who you are as a person. It probably takes a day or two to enter your achievements, your grades into the common application, but it takes maybe 3 or 4 months to finish all the essays you need to write. So, writing your essays should be the most important thing, I guess. Writing amazing essays should be very important to you because you have to write essays about who you are, what you like, what you want to study, and why the school is a great fit for you. So writing those essays requires you to know who you are, and that process of introspection is actually what makes applying to the USA amazing and a personal experience. And even if you don't get into the university, into your dream university the first time, you can apply as many times as you want. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
Wonderful. Well, I think your advice about the importance of those essays is really important because being able to kind of describe your vision of where you're going and what you want to do, as the three of you have, is so important. The thing that I would say too is that you're going to 3 great universities in the US, but there are more than 4,000. And you can have wonderful experiences all over the country. So I would just encourage our listeners to think that there's always a very special place for a student, and whether it's Occidental College like my daughter, or Stanford that some of my colleagues at the university, I mean at the embassy have gone to, or Missouri where I studied journalism. You can go all over the country and have great experiences. But you're right, Tokozile, if you love the cold and you love the snow, you should go to Cornell. So you're going to the right place. So Luyando, COVID-19 has led to health and safety precautions which have translated into adjustments and new strategies for many universities in the United States. Many schools are doing virtual classes, as I think you've experienced, you all as well. As you get ready to travel to the United States and study on campus this semester, how has the University of Pennsylvania prepared you to make sure that international students are safe and protected from the COVID pandemic?
The first thing they did was tell every student, especially international students, to quarantine for 2 weeks before they travel to campus. And when they arrive on campus, you have to get a COVID test and quarantine for another 2 weeks. And during those 2 weeks, you have people delivering your food and everything else that you need to your room so that you don't have contact with other people. And during pre-orientation, we had small groups that would have discussions on how to deal with the pandemic when you're on campus, and I think that was really helpful. And there's also an app that you have to download when you get to campus. You have to fill in your health, any symptoms daily, just to keep track of your health. And international students were also given the option to stay home if they felt like they would be safer at home and if their situation at home wouldn't disturb their current studies.
Wonderful. That's really important. And I think all of you have a responsibility, just like students from around the world and across the US who come to your universities as well. We all do, to keep each other safe. So thank you for your efforts on that. Ben, do you have any final words of advice for our audience if they plan to apply for US universities? And how would you recommend that they can participate with the Education USA programs here, or apply to join our next Scholars cohort in 2021?
For those who I think are planning to study in the United States, I think the first thing that I would do is that there are a lot of universities there, and they are so different. So like there's a university that can fit your personality. Doesn't matter like how different you are. Like me, I'm very weird, and Brown is like the perfect place for me. So I think you need to start your research and find a university that will fit you as a person, somewhere where you feel comfortable and where you feel that you grow, not just being in class, just to be there. Somewhere where you grow and where you shine as a person. Then again, there are a lot of universities. So I think first thing is, don't get discouraged when you feel like there are too many options to choose from. Like it's not an easy thing, and I'll tell you it's not an easy thing, but you get through it. Like you'll find a certain university. You can start wherever you want. You can start with the smaller universities. You can start with the bigger universities. You can start with the most famous ones, the Harvards, the Cornells, the UPenns, or you can start with Brown. Start with Brown, yeah. So then from there, you find one that fits with you. Then you can start thinking about applying. Then I think one of the things that I've been asked most about is like, how did I get into the Education USA program? The first thing is that Education USA is like open to everyone. So if you feel you need help, you just reach out to them. I think, yeah, they're online. There's a Facebook page and there's even an email. You reach out to them, then they can help you starting your application, but you need to at least have done some research so that they can guide you in which direction to go. And then for the Scholars program, that's a program I was in. you can apply. I think they'll be publishing an advertisement for those who want to join the Scholars Program. I think in December, that's when ours was published and that's when we applied. So you keep checking on the US Embassy Facebook page. I think the application will be there. Then if you're interested, fill out the application and then just wait and you eventually hear back from them. I think that's the advice I can give you if you are interested in the Education USA program. That's December. So for now, you can start your research and start getting excited about the universities that you want to apply to. Then in December, you apply for the program. But right now, you can even keep in touch with Paul and Belita, who are the advisors that they mentioned. They are very helpful, and I can tell you they help me out so much. Yeah, I think that's what I can say.
Wonderful. Well, thank you, Ben. That's great advice. And I think, as you said, one of the things that the three of you are going to find is that you're going to have an amazing experience studying with and working with students from all over the world. And I think that sense of excitement and stimulation and exchange of ideas, when you get together in small groups or have coffee together or in class or have debates and discussions, the growth that you will have meeting people from all over the world at your great universities is going to be a wonderful experience. So I just want to say to the three of you, Tokozile, Luyando, and Ben, we're very, very proud of you at the U.S. Embassy. I know you are going to be amazing scholars and have wonderful experiences and come back to Zambia and do amazing things here in your country and for the world. So thank you very much for joining us today. You inspire me. You make me very happy about the programs that we're able to do with you, and our three great universities that you're going to will benefit from having three wonderful new scholars. So congratulations.
Thank you.
I want to say it's been a real pleasure speaking with you, and to our audience, I want to thank you for joining us today. Please visit the U.S. Embassy Facebook page to read more about these three wonderful young students and learn how you can join the Education USA programs. They were featured in the newspaper today too, so you can find them in the print press as well. So thank you, everyone. Thank you to the